Many years ago, I got some advice from a well-meaning friend who said that I couldn't buy my first tarot deck, that it had to be gifted to me. We all know that rumor is bullhooey, but I really struggled in choosing that first tarot deck. I wanted something simple that would actually help me learn the tarot card meanings, and there just wasn't anything out there that was perfect for what I was looking for. There were, and there still are, many decks with beautiful artwork, but some of the most beautiful decks are also some of the most difficult to read, especially when you're just starting out. So, how are you supposed to choose the right deck when you're a total tarot newbie? In this video, I'll cover a few key tips for how to choose your first tarot deck and give you a few of my favorites. I'm Angie Green, and I am excited to share this video with you because I created the simple tarot deck to solve this exact problem. But this video is about much more than my deck. It's about how to pick the right deck for you. So first, if you're new here and are learning how to read tarot cards, hit that subscribe button for more tarot videos, and then we'll get started. So you might be wondering if there are any tools that will help you to make reading and learning tarot cards as easy as possible. And yeah, there are. I've got a super easy solution at the end of this video that will give you everything you need. But first, let's talk about what you actually need and why you need it. So the first thing to do is to acknowledge that tarot beginners have different needs than people who have been reading the cards for a long time. Learning to read tarot cards is a bit like learning a foreign language. You're going to start slowly. You're going to make a ton of mistakes, and you're going to feel like a fool. You're going to learn so much as you continue to practice and play with your cards. That's different from someone who reads all the time. So if you're a tarot beginner, it really helps to choose a deck that makes it as simple and easy as possible to learn the tarot card meanings. The second thing to know is that there are many different types of tarot decks based on different historical, spiritual, and cultural messages. There's Lenormand decks, Marseille decks, Wiccan or Pagan decks, the classic Rider-Waite-Smith decks, as well as many others. So the first step is to choose the style of deck that you want to learn first. If you want to read tarot in the classic sense or read the most popular version of the tarot cards, you'll want your first deck to be based on the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, which is great because that means you're going to have many options. Most current and modern tarot decks are based off the original Rider-Waite-Smith tarot card meanings and symbols. So once you learn one Rider-Waite-Smith based deck, you will be able to read them all. Okay, so now let's talk about price, because this is important. You can get a mass-produced copy of the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck for less than $20, but it does not come with any helpful material. You get just the cards and this miserable little, totally unhelpful little white book that is supposed to help you learn them. It doesn't. I love this deck, the original Rider-Waite cards, but that tiny pamphlet of info will make you hate the tarot if that's all you're going to use. So you can swing the other direction too and buy a custom-made gilt-edged collector's edition of a tarot deck for like over $100, signed and blessed by the artist. So spend the money however you want. It's your money, but you don't need to do anything fancy to make you fall in love with the tarot. The sweet spot is somewhere between $20 or maybe $30 and $70. $30 will get you a mass-produced deck, something printed in China and sold on Amazon, and $70 will get you a deck purchased directly from the artist and creator who is probably only printing a few hundred copies at a time. So if you're going to go for a Rider-Waite-Smith based deck, what you want to look for is a full 78 card tarot deck with both the major arcana and the minor pips cards. If there are less than 78 tarot cards, it isn't a full deck. Many of the beautifully illustrated decks on Kickstarter only include the major arcana or the first 22 cards of the deck, and which is fantastic, but they don't tell you the whole story. And so if you're just starting to learn, you're going to want a full deck with all 78 cards. You'll also want to find a deck that includes a companion guidebook. And this should be a full paperback book, not just some little folded sheet of paper or stapled tiny miniature booklet the size of your tarot cards. These books are super helpful in understanding the artist's intent and the symbols used on the cards, which goes a long way with reading confidently. If you want to learn how to read psychically or for divination, you'll want to find a deck that speaks to you, whatever that means to you. You'll need to use your intuition to pick the right one and trust yourself. I unfortunately don't read that way, so I'm no help here, but your intuition is what matters. If finding a deck that represents your spirituality is important to you, look for a Rider-Waite-Smith deck that aligns with your path. There are pagan decks like the Wildwood Tarot or the Robin Wood Tarot. There are witchy decks of all flavors, including the Green Witch Tarot and the Witch's Tarot. There are Wiccan decks, Jewish and Kabbalah decks, angel decks, energy decks, and many, many more. So use Google and tarot forums or even Facebook groups to find the decks that you love. So I love finding about new tarot decks, and the Indie Deck Review is my go-to source for that. There are new decks being published all the time. Traditional publishers like US Games and Llewellyn are able to advertise, but the independent tarot deck creators like myself have to rely on social media, word of mouth, and crowdfunding campaigns like through Kickstarter or Indiegogo. All of these are great sources to find out about new tarot decks. Okay. Like in this video, there are so many rabbit holes you can go down when you're talking about tarot decks. So now I'll break it down simply for you step by step. If you're looking for a deck that will help you learn to read tarot cards, first determine the style of deck you want. I personally highly recommend a Rider-Waite-Smith based deck, but you do you. Second, find a full deck of 78 cards, not a partial deck. Third, make sure your deck has a full companion guidebook, not some wimpy 8-page pamphlet. And finally, most importantly, choose the deck that you find beautiful and interesting. Learning tarot is a lifelong pursuit, and you don't want to be stuck with a deck that you don't love. There are a lot of great tarot decks out there that will work when you're learning to read tarot cards. But there's one that is 100% designed just for tarot beginners. I created this simple tarot deck to be used as a tool to help you learn the tarot card meanings. So it is color-coded, and it has the tarot card meanings and tarot keywords printed right on the cards. It comes with a starter kit, which includes a printed companion guidebook, as well as a super useful tarot cheat sheet. It includes everything you need to start reading tarot confidently from day one. I love it, and I know you're going to love it too. So I'll put a link down in the description for you to check it out. But first, I'd love to hear from you too. What is your favorite tarot deck for beginners, and specifically, what makes it so great for people who are just starting to read the cards? Let me know by dropping that down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button right now and let me know. If you have any more questions, leave a comment below. I monitor those all the time, and I'll answer you as quickly as I can. Now, if you're ready to move on onto my very next video, which you can watch right now, I'm going to be going on about one of my tarot rants about why you never need to wait for someone to give you permission to start reading tarot. Tarot rant,